This week I want to talk about keeping up with your craft. And it doesn't matter if you're within tech or not tech, and if you're in that community space and you're trying to relate. And I've talked about, adding your personal flair to things and being relatable in a previous video. But one of the things that I'm seeing, and it's not good. It's not good for the community. It's not good for yourself, because it's gonna come back and bite you. Is not keeping up with your craft, right? Not keeping up with your skills. We in DevRel or the advocacy space, or even the influencer space, there's a couple facets to it. There's a social aspect, there's a media aspect with all the cameras and lights that you might have, but then you have what you're talking about, right? How you're relating, how are you connecting, what are you doing? Whether it's, you're a community advocate for cooking utensils, right? I keep talking about that because I'm fascinated with, good cooking knives. Or you're, a developer advocate or DevRel for a company, or, doing it on your own. Whatever it might be, is keeping up with that craft and staying technical, right? Because sometimes it's a balance, right? We're sometimes focused more on better video quality, which is obviously important, or we're not, we're focused on more of the social side of it, which is equally important. And sometimes that trade craft, what we're here to, communicate and connect with, about and with, kind of falls to the wayside, and new technologies come out now in some other communities, right? It might not be as important. The way of holding your knife might not change if you're a community advocate when it comes to cooking utensils or cutlery. But in tech, it's constantly changing. It's constantly up there. And with that being said, that's a change that we need to keep up with, and it's hard, but it shouldn't be overwhelming and daunting. So as you're focusing on what you're specifically talking about, whether it's networking or programming or operations, or I hate to use the term DevOps because that's more cultural. I'm going to get trashed for that. I know Twitter's going to get me, but it's keeping up with that, and then kind of putting channels and guardrails on what that is, so you're not spreading yourself too thin, right? And then keep up with it. What's the latest? Are you on Hacker News? Are you following other people on Twitter, seeing what they're talking about? Is there other open source projects or companies that you're following that are doing releases on that? And are you taking that, consuming it, and getting ready to talk about that again? Because you can keep talking about the same thing over and over and over, right? But you're going to get to a point where you've talked about it 9 different ways. Other people have talked about it 100 different ways, and that content's just going to go stale and go away because of that. So there's an importance to it, but don't burn yourself out. Figure out what guardrails you want to talk about and where you want to do it. I mean, if it's in the cutlery space, talk about how to sharpen knives or whatever. If it's in the DevRel space, it's am I talking about operations? Am I talking about CI/CD? Is it DevOps versus GitOps? Whatever it might be. But just keep up on that part of it, because when you go rusty, it is a hard clawing your way back out of falling down with that. So if the multiple pillars that you have, I call it 3. There's social. There's your audio visual, your delivery way of delivering, which is audio visual, and your technical. Falling behind on the other 2 is bad. But falling behind on the technical one and having to claw your way back out is even harder. So keep up with it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see the rest of you guys in the community.